Hello again. One more topic. Um, I was looking at making tiled images. Everybody knows about trying to make tiled textures. Um, and well, since I've been using the artist panel for bringing in my paintings into the 3D viewport, it's been easier because there's a lot more to use with the material itself and the way the textures are worked from the texture table, or the properties panel. Okay, so I wanted to cover the texture offset and end up with a tiled brush image. Okay, so we're going to go to the main workspace, and I'm going to select everything, delete it, and go back to top view. I'm going to import a new canvas, and I'm going to bring an image that I took with my camera and I put up on DeviantArt. It's a rusted wall kind of picture. Now this is doesn't have a camera yet, so I'm going to set shadeless painting camera. Now I want to select part of this. I don't want the whole image because this is kind of outside of our norm. You can see the image is actually 1024 by 683. So I'm going to pull a 512 by 512 out of it. And so what I'm going to do is change the amount of the camera here, and then you'll see the image is still mapped inside. To fix that, I'm going to select the camera, then in the camera table here in the properties, sorry, I'm going to turn that end panel off right now. I'm still in orthographic. I'm going to hold down the shift key so I can drag very carefully. I'm going to get this area right here, and maybe shift on X, yeah, here, and on Y, man, like there. And that looks like a decent, good try. We'll see if we can work with that. So from here, all I'm going to do is do a snapshot where I OpenGL render out, and I'll save the result. Image, save as image to desktop, and we'll call it image rust base 1. Escape. And then I'm going to actually work with that image by itself instead of these. So selecting all with A, X, delete. I'm going to re-import that image. Desktop image rust base 1. Like I already said before, you can turn this toggle and see everything. Bring that in, add a camera. Now the trick here is actually that this one doesn't seem to have too much of a problem. If we did, let me go to my UV image editor where I've got this, and I'm going to switch to Compositor, use nodes, H to hide those and put them out of the way. Shift A, input image, output viewer, connect them. I'm going to shift this to viewer, and then we're going to choose that image rust base 1, and then I'm going to use a color mix node, and basically difference, and was that, yeah. Then I'm going to get a distort, rotate on the first one, and I'm going to put that at 90 or 180, and I'm going to put the amount here at 0.5, and it pretty much gives me more detail, but it also gives me more of a flat tone. But just because I want to check to make sure everything's going to work correctly, I'm going to use a RGB curve, and I'm going to put everything flat here. I'm going to pick one, I'm going to bring it up halfway, and so it's really got a lot of the light gone, but I've still got some color. On these I need to make sure there's zeros. That's 0 to 1, black, black. Okay, so that's basically what's going on. Is I'm flattening out the image, then I'm rotating it 180, and then doing the half difference between the two to put out. Now I'm going to save this as my base image 2. So I'm going to hit the plus sign here. Okay, we're good there. Now I want to go back to paint and plane, and I'm going to right click my image, come here to this part, and I'm going to change it to that next one. The material is still named the same, but the image is now the flat one, because you'll see the new image here and here. Okay, so this is still not tiled, so if we go to paint, if we were to turn on the end panel and hit repeat, you can definitely see a seam. We do have a lot of repeating pattern, which is something that I'm not really going to cover that right now, but I just want to get rid of these seams. We'll get rid of that for right now. Back to paint and plane. Here's the fun part. I'm going to set here 3 down, 1, 2, 3 down, and I'm going to add the same image again. But I'm going to press this 2 to make it a single user copy. That way, when I make changes here, it doesn't affect the other one that's up on the top or the bottom. The way everything works with Blender is it's kind of like the way text flows in code. It goes from the top of the page to the bottom of the page, but this is the first and this is the last, so this is actually on top if you were looking at like GIMP or Photoshop or even Illustrator, Inkscape, any of them, but it runs this direction. Same for the nodes. Okay, what the trick I want to show is down here where you have this panel, those coordinates, and you have offset. I want to just deal with X and Y, and I'm going to put 0.5 on both of those, and you won't see anything at all, because if we check my end panel, I'm still on multi-texture. Change to GLSL and you'll see the difference now. You'll see that now the seams are in the middle of the image, which is, that's exactly what we want at this point. And what we do need now is I'm going to switch to slot view so you can see this happening over here, but we're going to select this texture slot in between. It doesn't exist here yet, but it's here, and we press new, and we're going to use a new image at 512 by 512 to match the image we're working with. And I'm going to choose a full white, hit OK. Oh, let's call it a stencil, just so we can make sure everything's got a name. And up here we'll name that stencil as well. And to get it to work, what we're going to do is 3 things. Turn off the color effect, turn on RGB to intensity, and turn on stencil. There, it should work once we are in texture paint mode with a black, because the image we're going to work on is white. And if you already made a black one, you can double click here to actually to make it white. Okay? Anyway, we are going to click on the stencil layer here in the slots to make it active. Go to our tools. I'm going to go to text draw, and I'm going to press here to bring to my my black. I'm going to turn on pressure sensitivity and turn it down a little bit, and you'll see what happens when you press now is that when we paint in here just a little bit here and there we get our texture going across. Now what I'd like to do is bring it up here, and you can kind of see the oh, you know what, image mapping clip. If I do that, then you'll only see the one preview here. So as I paint, you'll see the preview update. So if you're having problems seeing what you're doing, and this isn't perfect because there's a lot more work to go with trying to make things not look repetitive, and depending on how much detail you've got, it'll actually really start to show. You want to have some things that have a lot of open space and just enough detail to give you an idea. Okay, a way to get around that, just really quickly, press this texture button and see brush, press that and choose brush mask, new one, and then where it says image or movie, let's choose something that's going to be a little bit more varied. Let's get a clouds texture, press the colors and turn on the ramp, and we'll drag this black stop over to where we get some decent contrast, but pieces, kind of like to break it up. And if you want to see it in your options, you can turn on mask texture, so when you're over it, you'll see what kind of effect you're going to have. So, and at this point, by scaling my brush, I can control how big or how small that mask opening is. So if I do this number and then turn around and do this number, you get some variations that might actually help out with this. Okay, I think that's good enough for right now for us to see what we're doing, and I want to show you what it happens with the tile texture. Now in our blenderpaint panel, we want to now run with a snapshot that's easy, and that'll give us our result. Image, save as image, and I'm going to go up one for 3 and bring up our end panel again. Since we're in the image editor, we can do this. Hit repeat, and you'll see as you zoom out, the further you zoom out, you'll see that pattern starting to pick up, but where it's not quite as noticeable is closer. And this would actually be usable for something if you were willing to put it down, put it all the way around, bake it, and then come back and paint out parts. So maybe using this as one image with another stencil taking open to another image, you might not see this repetition as much. But our seam markings are gone, and that's what the main thing is, what I wanted to cover with you. Alright, and hopefully that was a good enough coverage for that so you can make use of it. Alright, thanks a lot. You guys leave me the comments if you have anything, and anything that you're interested in figuring out how to work out with blenderpaint, let me know. Have a good day. Bye.